Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. But I'm very glad that I'm back now that I have less things to do for the IB and for school. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I recently took the TOEFL. I'm currently in my university application process, and one of the requirements that I have to fulfill in order to apply as an international student is to show that I have English proficiency. In order to prove that, I had to take a test, and I decided to take the TOEFL. Due to the global pandemic, a lot of tests have been canceled. However, ETS has developed a special home edition, meaning that you can just take the test at home online with a proctor and someone that just watches you take the tests and monitors and helps you throughout the process. And so I decided to take it that way. I think that I learned a lot from my experience of taking the test, and I wanted to share my knowledge about it with you guys. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys 5 tips to take the TOEFL. These can apply to the special home edition, but also just the TOEFL in general. And I also asked some of my friends to send in their top tip to take the TOEFL, and they also got very high scores, and I think that that would be a great perspective to give you guys in order to succeed in the test. These tips are specifically for people that already know how to speak the language. However, I do think that this could help anyone in general. I think these tips are very oriented towards the structure of the test and towards what you can do to actually prepare. Obviously, there are more tips out there. I am not a genius in TOEFL. I self-studied for the test, so obviously these are just some general tips, and I will also link down below some videos that really helped me out with professionals that have studied the test and actually know about the test, and I will link those down below as well. So I really hope you enjoy this video, and let's get started. The study technique that helped me the most throughout my self-studying process for the TOEFL is to take practice tests. Now, I would definitely recommend using the ones provided by ETS because they're the closest to what an actual test looks like, and the questions are formulated in a specific format and structure for all tests. So there are different types of questions, and these types of questions are repeated in every test, and they have those types of questions in their practice tests. And so I don't recommend just going to a random website and using those. I think that if you want to do that, first use the ones provided by ETS, and then go to other websites which have TOEFL resources and use those. You can see if they're actually like questions that you would get in TOEFL or not. So there are a few free practice tests in the ETS website, and so you can use those. There's one practice test, and there's the correct answers for the reading and listening section, and then for the writing and speaking they give you examples, but you can also practice. I purchased a practice set from the ETS store, which I think was the most helpful for me because I received the score from my practice exam 1 or 2 days after I took it, and that really helped me to see where I stand. Obviously, I don't think that you need to purchase a lot of materials in order to succeed in TOEFL. But maybe investing in one practice exam could be very helpful to see where you were at and to get a little bit of experience taking it. I personally chose the timed that version. They ask you if you want to do it timed, and it simulates an actual TOEFL exam, or just taking one which you could like log in and log off whenever you want. I took the time because I wanted to see how I would manage 3 hours of an exam, and so I think that was really helpful, and I think that anybody could benefit from that. When I was practicing for my exam, I realized that when I didn't sleep enough, or I was just tired, or I was just unfocused, I wasn't concentrating on the questions. I did not understand the questions, even though I do speak English, and I also marked the wrong answers, and when I looked at the correct answers, I realized, oh, that makes sense. And so I do think that getting enough sleep is such an important important, such an important tip. And I also do think that you need to see at what time of the day you are the most focused. Obviously, this varies between persons. Some people are night owls, some people are morning people, and what's very convenient about the special home edition is that you can take it whenever you want. They provide you with a timetable and options. So I recommend taking it at a time that you know you will be focused, you know there are going to be no distractions. And the wonderful thing is also that you're at home, so you get to choose where you're taking it, and I really enjoyed that because I was able to take it at the comfort of my own desk. Another thing that I realized as I was practicing for my TOEFL exam and as I was watching different videos for TOEFL resources as I was self-studying, I realized that a great tip is to use a varied amount of vocabulary and also varying your sentence structures. I would just suggest making a list of transitional phrases, synonyms of words that you think could be helpful for the test, or different options for sentence starters and things like that. Instead of using for example every time I wanted to demonstrate a point or give evidence for a point, I would use different transitional phrases like for instance, such as, and this can be exemplified in this circumstance. And I could vary this. Obviously saying for example is okay, you should use it, but I don't think you should use for example in every paragraph of your answer, in every answer of the speaking section. I also started using a combination of simple and compound sentences because I think that this could really enhance your answer. And the point of the test is to show that you can manage the language by using different types of transitional phrases, different vocabulary, and different synonyms for the same thing that you want to say. I think that really shows the examiners and the machine itself that's correcting it that you can manage it enough to gather different ways of saying the same thing and making it very dynamic, using for example simple sentences like she agrees with this idea, or a variation of that which you could use instead and could be she agrees with this idea for it is beneficial for everyone. So I used the coordinating conjunction for in this case, and so obviously you can see that there's a difference. Obviously simple sentences are good, you should use a variation so that it's not all like complex and stuff like that, and I do think that simple sentences are very important. So I think using that variation can really show that you know English and that you can use it at an academic setting. Another thing that I realized while I was practicing is that using answer templates is very important and very helpful because it cuts down the time that you're given, for example, in the speaking section of the 30 seconds that you have to prepare the answer. Instead of using it to see how am I gonna start, instead you can use a template and actually concentrate on what you want to say and gather examples, because even though they're not testing you on your critical thinking and like what answers you can gather from this, it's how well you understand what they're telling you. And so I think that these templates really help you just concentrate on what you're gonna say, and it gives you a peace of mind so that you can calm down the nerves, which is really great. Also, I'm gonna link down below some videos that really helped me, and also a document written by me, a summary of all the answer templates that I used for the speaking and writing section. Really helped me out, and I think that the reason why I got such a high score in speaking, which I got 30 out of 30, and in the writing I got a 28, I believe. I think that what helped me the most in those sections and to reach a high score is that I used answer templates, so I wasn't worried about, oh, how am I gonna say that she disagrees with this, but rather already had what I was gonna say. I was just needed to gather the information to answer the question from what the TOEFL test is telling me. But generally, I would start saying something like, for example, for the first question of the speaking section, I would say, I agree with the idea that, bam, I feel this way for 2 reasons. And then I would go and say my 2 reasons for why I agree with this. I did the same thing for the writing section. However, I wrote this in paragraphs, and so I had an introduction paragraph and then my arguments and then my conclusion paragraph. Lastly, I remember that the first time I took my mock practice test, I got a significantly lower score than what I wanted, and this was because I didn't understand the grading criteria or the function of that type of question, or what type of question it was. Every type of question in the exam is there for a reason, to show what part of the English language that you understand. After watching some YouTube videos by, I think, TOEFL resources, I will also link them down below. They explained to me exactly the structure of the questions and what they were asking of me and how these answers were graded. For example, in the speaking section, I was able to understand how these answers were graded, and so I started focusing on articulating my words and really trying to speak as clearly as possible in order to get a higher mark, because it is a machine that is grading your answers. And so after I understood the criteria and how it was graded, I was able to get a higher score and actually get the score that I wanted. This also goes along with taking good notes, because if you understand the questions that are going to come and you know what they're going to ask of you, because every question type is the same for every TOEFL test. So I think that by understanding that, you're going to be able to make more efficient notes and pay attention while writing the notes, but like writing down the specific points that you really need to know.
Hey everyone. Well, for the English TOEFL test, my best section was the speaking part, and if I'm honest, like once I was done with that section, I was like, no, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. But then talking to my friends, and after I got my result, which I got at 28 out of 30, I realized that my mistake was thinking that the TOEFL wanted me to be perfect. And I was over-stressing myself because I believed that I had to do this certain way, like this is the only way I will get a good grade. But at the end, like, the TOEFL is not measuring if you're perfect on English. Like, they're measuring you if you can involve in a conversation, if people can understand you, if you're coherent when you talk, if you make yourself understandable, like your pronunciation, the language you use, and if you could actually survive in a conversation. And for surviving in a conversation, you don't have to be perfect. And something that helped me a lot was having someone to talk in English, like twice a week, 30 minutes or an hour, like just talking in English fluently, and like having any random conversation. Like, it helped me a lot to then face that moment where I was gonna have to talk to a computer. And also, like, reading out loud, it helped me improve my pronunciation, because if I was like reading something, like, and I actually like portray my voice, like I could realize when I was maybe like talking like this or like that, or if I was like not making sense, like the way I was reading it was not like following the structure of the sentences. That really helped me a lot, like to be able to talk and make myself understandable, and to have actually like a good way of presenting my ideas and having the other person understand me. And sometimes we tend to speak very, very fast, and that makes us not understandable. Don't rush. Like, if you're talking about like maybe like the independent question, but if we're talking about like what you like, you don't have to rush. Like, you have time to express your idea and be like, yeah, I like this because of this, an example. Like, the time they give you is specific for the information you want to give. In the part where they give you lectures and passages and you have to tell what they're talking about or like speak about it, the 1 minute is enough, because you just have to extract the most important information and explain it, and 1 minute is enough. But just talk normally. Like, so the only way you can actually make sure that you understand it and you're gonna get a good grade is by knowing the structure and practicing. And yeah, those are my tips for you to practice on your speaking section. And well, thank you and good luck.
Hi guys, my name is Nicole. I took the TOEFL last year, and I think one of the best tips that I can give you is to take as much notes as you can during the exam, whenever you have a listening exercise or you have to hear a recording or something of that sort, so that then if you have any trouble remembering something that was said during this recording, you can always refer back to your notes, and it will be much easier for you to answer the questions. I would also suggest that you practice this technique while you're studying, so that therefore it will be much easier for you to actually apply it the day of the test. Bye! Good luck!
Hi, I'm Majo, and I took the TOEFL test at the beginning of this year, and I guess the best tip I could give for it, and for any test really, is organization. Knowing when you're going to take the test, how long are you going to prepare for, how many practice tests are you going to do, and the list goes on. And also about the practice tests, I consider them a really helpful tool, because they help you know how the TOEFL questions are, because they are very specific and similar, and they also make you feel much more comfortable in the official exam. So yes, those are very short and really concise tips I could give. Bye!
Remember that the purpose of TOEFL is to assure that you are going to be able to learn and communicate with others in English. Don't worry too much about whether your answers are good enough or your critical analysis is good enough. Make sure that your answers are as clear as possible and that they show that you speak English. Don't necessarily focus on, is this the best answer that's gonna be like on my thesis? It's not a thesis. It's not to see how smart you are or how intelligent you are. It's to see how well you speak the language, and I think that's really important. So remember that. Don't stress too much about it. Like, if you don't know about a topic, just understand what they're saying to you or what they're providing to you to read and see what you can make of it, not necessarily how much you know about it previously. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more videos like this, then you should subscribe. If you have any other questions or anything, any comments and things like that, then comment down below and I will make sure to answer to all of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye!